right, welcome back to Joints Unleashed. All right, in case you guys don't know and you guys are new, my name's Omar and I am preparing for a marathon in Napa and a half Ironman in Boulder, Colorado on June 8th. So this 12-week program is going to be increasing the flexibility of my knees and hips and increasing the strength of my hips and knees in this new range of motion. On top of learning some more jiu-jitsu leg locking or my leg locking systems from Benji Silva. Now, I started the second quadrant of the knees over toes, and we're now focusing on the back and the flexibility of the back, which is great because I have no flexibility when I'm sitting crisscross, for example. So I'm going to show you some exercise that I've been learning or have been doing to increase the flexibility of my back. And I'm slightly behind on some exercises. I've been slightly under the weather, just needed some rest. Now that I'm doing much better, I'm right back on the program. So let me show you some exercises that I enjoy doing and have learned from both programs, the Knees Over Toes ATG coaching program and Kelly Starrett's The Ready State. So let me show you some exercises. First, I'm gonna show you some drone shots of sled pulling and then 2 exercises, 1 of each program. See you soon. Welcome back to Joints Unleashed. This is week 4. I haven't really focused on any of the exercises last week. I really wanted to give the update on the marathon and the half Ironman that I'm running in the upcoming weeks or next year. What I really wanted to do today is I wanted to focus on a tool that I use, not only for myself, but for my clients as well. It is called the stick mobility. Normally there's a sticker here, but just wear and tear, the sticker has kind of worn out. So the stick mobility is a great stick, very flexible, right? And it works wonders for flexibility. So let me show you 2 of my favorite exercises using the stick mobility. So first, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place the stick behind my back. I'm gonna go outside shoulder width position. I'm gonna go into my hip hinge. So my back is straight. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rotate my body. I'm gonna jam the stick into the ground. And once I jam the stick into the ground, I'm gonna go into a side lunge to the side. Well, actually both sides, not necessarily just one side. I can separate the exercise by doing one side at a time. But for the video purposes, I'll go both sides at the same time. When I go into my rotation, the minimal goal is the center point, but the eventual goal is the opposite leg, or the foot, I should say. So I go into my hip hinge, I'll go into my rotation, jam the stick onto the floor, I'm gonna lunge to one side, take a deep breath, transfer to the other side, take a deep breath, and then come right back up. And then I'm gonna do the same thing going on to the other side. And you're gonna notice which side is the tighter side. I'm gonna go into my hip hinge, I go into my rotation, I lunge to the same side the stick is on, take a deep breath, lunge to the opposite side, take a deep breath, and then come right back up. Oh man, one of my favorite stretches to do. Now, not only is it stretching out my legs, my inner thighs, my hips, but also my rotation or my core muscles, right? Really works that rotation muscles. And then not only my rotational muscles or my core muscles, I'm also stretching my arms and my chest. You can see the stick when it bends, it's really creating a stretch. I mean, that's the best way of to describe it. I love the stick mobility. Now, they come in different sizes. They come 6-footer, standard. They have shorter ones, I believe a 3-footer. They also have 8-foot tall and thicker, or the pro version. different sticks for different purposes. I can use 2 sticks at the same time. I can use 1 stick at the same time. So again, your creativity is your limitation. Now let me show you another stretch I like to do with the stick mobility. I'm gonna go into a wide base once again. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep it very simple. I'm gonna work on stretching my inner thighs. So what I'll do is I'll place the stick on the inside of the foot, cross the stick over, right? Notice that my finger is facing upward. I'm gonna connect my chest to the stick. I get the other hand, place it on the stick. I'll start off with the stick in a perpendicular position. Right now I'm stretching out my chest, my arm, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna transfer the weight over onto the other side, lunge, exhale. If I can go stick to knee, that'd be awesome. Transfer it over, I'm applying pressure downward onto the floor. Deep breaths at the end ranges. Come down. And then I continue, and then I'll definitely do it on both sides. So I really wanted to introduce the stick mobility. Again, great sticks, really good for flexibility. But I just wanted to show some of the tools that I use to work on my flexibility. So very easy, very simple to use. Okay, that is the stick mobility. Not only, right, am I working on the hips with the things I'm doing with stick mobility, I wanted to add a couple of exercises that I have found to be great for my goal. So one of the first ones. Now, if you know anything about me, my hips are the tightest hips that you're ever gonna find. It's very difficult for me to sit crisscross. Now, not only are my hips tight, but I also realize that the lower back and the high glutes are also tight as well. And not only does it affect me, attempting to sit on the floor comfortably, but when it comes to jiu-jitsu, I mean, there's a lot of positions that are very hard for me to get into because of that lack of flexibility. So let me show you a very simple one that I'm doing for the knees over toes guy program. Is 90-90 position, right? I don't have the flexibility to stay in this upright position, so I'm gonna lean a little bit of weight onto this arm. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to hinge at my hips, and I'm gonna hinge and reach forward. I come right back up, exhale on the way down. And then right back up. So simple, right? But never thought about doing this. And I can feel my lower back and my high glutes stretch. I mean, whew, on this side. Man, big time. And then when I go on this side, this one's the tighter hip. So this is gonna be a lot harder. You can see I'm probably leaning more on this arm than I'm supposed to. But, than I need to, which is fine, right? But that's the reason why I'm working on these exercises, to increase my flexibility in my hips and my knees. Again, learning a lot when it comes to all these new exercises that are not in my repertoire. And again, just learning more about my favorite subject, me. So that is one of my favorite exercises that we are now in the new Knees Over Toes Guy program. Another thing that I've noticed, one of my favorite rolls, right? I learned this during the Kelly Starrett's The Ready State app, is rolling right here on my hip, right? So there's my bone is there, my rib is there. I want to find a little bit more like that meaty area on the hip. So I've noticed right when I get into that position, there it is, right there, good. Not even using a hard foam roller, I can definitely feel that these muscles here are the muscles that are tight when I attempt to sit crisscross or I do anything that has to do with flexibility of the hip. And now that I've kind of really found this favorite area to roll, I've been rolling kind of the major areas, the visual areas, right? The quads, I've been rolling the glutes, but I've been, really neglecting these little small muscles that are in the hip joint, right? The back portion of the hip, the side, and then the front. I'm not rolling the IT band because you can't roll a band, it's tight. So I'm not rolling the IT band, just rolling the muscles that surround the psoas muscle and the glute muscle, glute minimus, glute medius. So really, really great areas to roll. I've been finding success doing that. I feel relieved every time I do that. So definitely a great area to roll because that is the flexibility that I need when I'm attempting to do all these different leg lock positions. So been having a good time with the leg locks. Actually started my run. I mean, we're about 10 weeks away from the marathon. So I do want to say this, Rosa has been rocking it. Man, if you guys don't know, Rosa signed us up for a marathon on March 3rd. So the first time we ran the marathon. We ran the marathon with the idea of finishing, right? The secondary goal was the time, which was fine. So our training program was very different than what it is today. So the training program before was, let's work really, really hard, high intensity during the workout. And that means that we didn't really have to go out and run all the miles during the week. So we chose to do that way for the first marathon and we finished. Now with the second marathon that we want to run, technically the third, but we won't talk about that again. So now we want to improve our time. So now what we're doing is we're having Rosa do more running outdoors during the week and less high intense workouts during the workouts. So we've switched it. So now we're focusing on time versus just finishing. So Rosa comes to my house, parks her car in my front yard, and runs the neighborhood where I live. I live more in a flat neighborhood. So every single time I look out, I see her car and she's just out running. It's been raining the last couple days and she's been running in the rain, she's been running in the cold. I mean, extremely dedicated. So I am super proud of her and I'm really excited to see if she's going to beat the time, or are we going to beat the time that we had set out for, which is going to be, was it 5.5? 5.5 hours, I believe, so is the goal. So we'll see. I ran 5.5 hours during Ironman. That was actually obviously after the swim and after the bike. So I have confidence that I personally know what it takes to beat 5.5. And now Rose is showing what it takes to beat 5.5 hours. So I'm really proud of her. And I will show you some of the videos of her exercising. Again, in here, low intensity, we're working on rebuilding and fixing, and then out in the run, putting all the stuff we put together in here out in the run so that we can push her time. So show you some videos. I'm also going to show some videos of me pushing the sled. During the knees over toes guy, one of the workouts is a backwards sled, which I do and I show you. And then another thing that I do is I push the sled, really focusing on the strength of the glutes, strength of the quads, and strength of the calf, right? So they call it triple extension. So those muscles are definitely the muscles that we're working on the sled, which will definitely pay dividends during the marathon and eventually the half Ironman later on in the year. So wanted to give you a quick little update. I haven't really done anything or shown you anything with the work that I've been working on, but those are 3 different things I've been working on: the stick mobility, the rolling of the hip from Kelly Starrett, and that 90-90 forward reach. Man, I love it. Again, the simplest things are sometimes the best things to do. So hopefully, or hope you enjoyed the breakdown, and we'll see you guys next week.